Hey everyone, it's Bree. I'm back with another scrapbook process video for the SpiegelMom Scraps design team. And for the month of December, the design team sparklers are all going to be scrap lifting each other. And this layout is from a fellow sparkler, Susanna Lee. And she created this layout and I love it so much that I wanted to try it. In her original post on Instagram, I'll try to see if I can link her Instagram below. She had hashtagged that she used a Paige Evans cut file. So I went to the Silhouette store and I found the exact same one and I cut it with some plain white cardstock that I picked up at Walmart. It's fairly thin, so I think, well, I prefer to use this specific cardstock because it cuts very nicely on or through my silhouette. And it's pretty inexpensive. I think you can get 40 sheets for $5. So, and it's perfect. All right, so in Susanna's layout, she also had a pattern paper as the first layer, and then she put another piece of white cardstock so she can put the frame as well. And she sewed it. And I recently got a sewing machine, so I was super stoked that I'd be able to add this feature because for a while now I haven't had a sewing machine because mine's broken. So I got a new one, and it was super fun to add the stitching element onto my layout. Okay, so Susanna also added some mixed media or some color underneath her frame, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm using some shimmers. I've got, the first one I'm working with is a shimmers in the color Wisteria Lane, and then I've also got a Vibes in Eggnoggin and a Spritz in Cotton Candy. So I didn't prep my paper with any gesso because I wasn't planning on adding too much water. It was going to be very subtle, and I just was going to use the color and just kind of gently paint it on. So I'm getting the colors pretty much spread out along the shape of the half frame, and then I'm also doing some splatters. Now I do have 3 sequin packs set to the side because I really wasn't sure what I was going to use. I just liked the color schemes in all 3. I've got Fallin For You, Pastel Pasture, and Dragon Tails. The collection I'm going to be using specifically on this layout is the Whimsical collection by Paige Evans with Pink Paisley. I love this collection so much. I'm still using it. I've got a lot of it, and I really wanted to use more of it up. So I got, most of it was from the Hip Kit Club last month's kits, as well as I had purchased some separate items directly through Paige on Instagram as well. All right, so I'm just going in and adding the final touches. I added an extra spot of purple right there. It came out a little bit dark, so I blotted it up to keep it pretty light. I love this cut file. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty, and I love Susanna's idea of cutting it in half and only featuring half of it, and how she had the pattern paper and the white cardstock a little bit scattered, or not scattered, staggered. So yeah, I'm just gluing down the cut file. It did take a little bit of time to cut because it is very intricate, but it was worth it. It is so pretty, and I'm already trying to think of ideas to use the other half of that frame. So I basically stick to Susanna's layout to a T. I pretty much follow it like completely. So I'm backing my photo of me and my son with one of the papers from the 6x6 paper pack. And then I pulled a little bit of wax paper to add another little layer behind the photo. I love the softness that this layout ended up having. And what's crazy is when I looked back at Susanna's layout, her pattern paper on the bottom also had words going behind it. And to be honest, I wasn't going to pick that teal piece of paper. I did originally have, I think, the back side of this paper, and it's like cream with a bunch of blue small flowers from the Whimsical collection. But the white and the cream kind of contrasted a little bit too much for me. And so that's when I turned over the page, and it really made the white cardstock and everything else stand out up against that, the dark background or the dark pattern paper. So I'm adding some foam tabs to my photo, and then I've got a couple of these floral ephemera pieces from the ephemera pack. And then I've also pulled that really pretty butterfly as well, and I stuck it down. I've been really wanting to add that butterfly to one of my layouts, and I'm excited that I was finally able to add it on. So in Susanna's layout, she did have a tag beneath or under her photo right here, and I ran out, or I don't have any of the white large tags. So I took this gray one that I got from Pick Your Plum like, God, years ago, and I'm going to create my own. So I'm just cutting around the shape of it with this pretty paper. I liked the pink because it did add a little bit more pink to, or is that, I guess that's like a magenta. Yeah, it just, because that color is showing up in the flowers, and I wanted to add a little bit more of it amongst the page. So I cut it out, and then I'm using my little punch to get the reinforcer. And I didn't make it a full-size tag because I was only using it just for it to peek up above the photo. So I'm taking some embroidery thread and just tying a little knot. And that's the first time I've used that reinforcer punch. And I've had it and I've been wanting to use it. And so I'm super excited that I felt like I was using up what I've got. And it was so good. I think Black Friday, I avoided every sale, like honestly, and that is not me. I usually use Black Friday as a time for me to, pick up a lot of good deals like warehouse boxes or grab boxes and all kinds of stuff. And I didn't get anything, and I'm super proud of myself. Like, really. It might have to do with me going on vacation in 3 weeks, but I'm trying to save like up for that so I can shop and I can, really enjoy myself while we're gone. All right, let's see, what am I doing? So I've got my tag, I added a label behind my tag, and then I wanted to add some butterflies. In Susanna's layout, I believe she used the Willow Lane collection by Maggie Holmes with crepe paper, and she had some butterflies scattered amongst the frame, like here and there. And so what I did is I pulled out my punch, and then I took the 2x2 paper stacks from the Whimsical collection and punched out a few butterflies as well as the same in some vellum. So I layered them up, and I'm sorry, I'm out of frame here. I layered the vellum underneath the pattern paper with a little bit of glue, and I'm doing the same here. That's that blue paper right there that you see. That was my original plan for my pattern paper in the 12x12 version. And it doesn't look too bad now that you like see it together, but the cream and like the stark white, it just, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. So that's why I decided to go with the darker one, and I love it. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm adding a tiny strip of foam tape, and I took off the release paper so it was sticky, and then I'm wrapping the butterfly with some gold thread. And of course I was inspired by Sue's Fish because she does this a lot with her butterflies, and I just love it. It's so cute. So I'm just wrapping the thread around my butterfly, and then I'm creating a few loops to give it more texture and more interest behind my butterfly. And then I cut the tails to maybe have like an inch or an inch and a half, so it, you've got some threads dangling, and I just love that look. It's very whimsy and pretty, and I love the touches of gold because the purple flower that I put on the top left, it does have some gold foiling. It's kind of gold coppery, but I thought since it is metallic looking, I liked the fact that the gold thread played on it as well. So I'm doing it again for my second butterfly, and I'm hoping, there you go. I realized that in the first butterfly, I was like, wow, I wasn't in frame at all. So I tried to bring my hands in view so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And I go fast because, I mean, it did take me a couple minutes to do each butterfly. And I'm just, yeah, bunching it up. And I think the blue one was like my favorite, the way it came out. Let's see. I found some puppy little hearts that I'm going to scatter on top of my cut file. And then I'm going to add this really pretty flower. And I thought that the little corner needed some of that color, and then I realized that I didn't even stick down that big purple flower. So I add some puffy little leaves to add some more color up there. And I'm going through the chipboard stickers to see if there's anything else I can add, and then I pull some of these hearts and get those down. And this was super fun. to do. Next week, the second week, no, not next week. The second week of December, we are all scrap lifting our boss lady, which is Jody Spiegelhoff. And so definitely stay tuned. Each sparkler is going to be, we all chose a different layout that we're going to scrap lift her on. I guess that makes sense. And yeah, so I have mine picked out and I'm really, really excited to scrap lift one of Jody's layouts. All right, so fun time. I'm doing my sequins and I have got Fallin For You. I was going to add the Love wood veneer piece that does come in this specific sequin mix. It doesn't make it because I do change my title up. I feel like I do a lot of my, lately I've had a lot of love words in my titles, so I wanted to change it up a little bit, so I'm going to save that one for a different layout. But I love this specific sequin mix. There are a lot of very clear and pink and tinted clearish sequins, if I'm making any sense. So they're very soft and they were perfect for this layout. I mean, I know that I've got a lot of bold colors in my flowers, but the cut file itself and the lightness of the mixed media that I did add, it's still very soft. So that's why I wanted to keep the sequins very light. I pulled that little banner. I think that's a chipboard piece that says happy. And this photo happens to be of me and Elijah. We were at, I think we were at a showing or we were meeting clients at a condo. This was when we still lived in Hawaii. And so it was on the weekend. And this was when he was, I think he was 9 or 8. And so he came with me to the condo to meet a client. And so my title is going to be Work and Play because we had arrived a little bit early and we just got to hang out and mess around on our phones, or my phone at that time, and while we were waiting for our clients. And he was my little assistant that day, and he was very well behaved, and he's so cute there. So of course we had to snap a picture when he was helping mommy at work. All right, so I got some of the enamel butterflies that I also wanted to scatter along the cut file. And off camera, I know I do add some Heidi Swap Gold color shine, but definitely stay tuned for final photos. And there's my code. Don't forget to use it to save 15% off in the shop, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.